All right, I want to get this recording. All right, we've got LaTwan and Claudia, and Chris just joined, and Chantel's jumping on to listen in with us.
Okay. Easy enough. How's y'all's week go?
Hey, good morning. It's Claudia. Can you hear me?
I got you.
You can hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Sorry. So, hey, good morning. So I'm going to do the challenge, and I chose the 15, 20, 25. And actually, in my head, I would really like to just do 20,000 a month straight across. It kind of evens out. My goal is 400 appointments. So I'm just kind of just checking in and, to be accountable for that. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do 50 solid run days, but if I book at least 10 appointments a day, that'll allow me the 400 appointments. I did the math on my calendar, which I have written out, because I've got some elderly parents way up north in Maine that I've got to go see for a couple of days. I have to. So, but I can still make up and do 10 appointments. And even running final expense, like you guys said, I'll have to do probably even, book 12 a day or something like that. So do you have any thoughts or, maybe steer me on that? What do you think?
Yeah, my initial thoughts are, even with 8 holidays off, I think they were still 32 more days off. So certainly that'll give you plenty of time to take care of the parents. And,
right.
Hell, you could go there for 2 weeks and still get 50 run days in.
Pretty much, yeah. The way I did the math with the dial days, it's, there's about 30 dial days, really. So.
Did you, I got you. Just 2 a week. I don't know how many weeks are left. What are we in October, November, December? So 5, 9, 13, so 20-something dial days.
Yeah.
So 20-something dial days. That leaves 18 days off, 50 run days.
Pretty much.
A dial day is like a half day off.
Hopefully.
So.
Yep.
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, okay. Hey, it is when you add up your dials. If you dial right, you get to actually have the half day off. If you dial slow, you don't.
Right.
You scatter it in between. That's the biggest mistake agents make.
Yeah. Do you think it's 8:30 now? I have 30 dials in and 1 appointment, so I'm going to try to keep that pace up all day till I get
that's what it's all about.
20. Perfect.
If people would master that, they'd be a lot better at dialing, and they'd be a lot less concerned about what to say when someone says this.
Mm-hmm.
All that's not bad. Right? Nothing wrong with wanting to get better at it, but I think people put too much emphasis on what to say when versus how to dial right. You dial right. To be honest, you won't give a shit what they say.
Yeah,
that's where it gets eventually.
Yep.
And when you run enough, it's like the right people, not everybody, but the ones that are out there that know how to kill it, they don't care at all what people say in the house because they know they've done their best deal. They've asked the right questions. They've set it up best they know how. And it didn't work out. So you go, all right, keep it moving. And you learn to just go next because without a doubt it's going to work out. And like there's a lot of people that are so 100% certain that they're going to get their 50 run days in. Mm-hmm. And when the way Ryan put it out there, it's like it is still every other day off in a sense. Close,
Cool.
So be crazy intentional. Did you already map out your whole year or no?
I did the next 90 days are all mapped out, yeah. The whole year?
Yeah, that's basically the year. Yeah, that essentially gets you right at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's all mapped out. I've got a whiteboard for October, and then I've got 3 paper calendars, October, November, December. They're all marked up.
Yeah, there you go. So cool. Just follow it. Like Ryan's your boss, and he gave you your schedule. Yeah. It's like, cool. Here's my schedule. Just let it rip. And you book, 3 appointments an hour. Right? Only 3.
Right.
Only. So it's 1 every 20 minutes. It's only 5 hours of dialing for you to look up. 5-6 hours of dialing. It's nothing. So
sounds good. Thanks,
cool
Sean.
beans. Good to see you doing it, though. You got it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah. Paige, how'd y'all's week go?
Hey, it's Freddie. How you doing, John?
What's up, Freddie?
Hey, bud. Yeah, well, what I learned this week, obviously, was to ask better questions and ask more questions during the interview process, and which I wasn't obviously doing before. More structured, more intentional, and by asking more of the questions up front, I think I got it a little bit from Dom as well. You're not wasting as much time with somebody that is not going to be interested or do it, or we might not be interested in.
Hey,
a lot
that
of the
guy
questions. Yep.
Hey, that guy send back in his affidavit or no?
No.
Shocker.
Yeah. I mean, in the past, I say the past, but the last 6 or 7 months, I think I've been more like just so excited to get somebody on board, that we just shouldn't have. If they had a pulse, I was putting them in the class, kind of thing, and realizing real quick. So, we just need to be more intentional about the questions up front, the knockout questions, and so, made a.
How many interviews y'all knock out this week?
I didn't do but 20 interviews this week, John. My Indeed is not coming in quite as like I thought it would, so I backed up on the older zips. I've got to talk to Stephanie this morning and see about getting some more areas, how they can be added into the budget. And speaking of budget, I mean, is there like a rule of thumb for what you spend on marketing, or just whatever you feel like you can afford? Is it a percentage of issue paid, or do you have any thoughts on that?
Me, it's enough to get 30 interviews a week.
Okay.
Whatever that is for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't stress on that because I know it's going to come back.
Right.
I mean, especially Paige selling what she's selling.
Yep.
It almost don't matter. And you get a couple hires on it, and now it pays for itself. That's the part I struggle with understanding why people don't throw money into hiring. Dude, you could spend $10,000 a month, and it doesn't take but $50,000 in volume at 20 points to pay for itself. How do you not get $50,000 in volume? Like total volume, not a 50K producer, 50K in total volume. You know what I mean? It's like everybody. What's funny, Freddie, is like we get so frustrated with agents that buy 20 leads a week. And it's the business side is it's even easier to profit. It just takes a minute longer. And if we do whatever we can to have as many interviews as possible, it's easy. Again, Indeed works. Hell, Zip you can turn on and off at will. And then any of those Facebook marketing type things, LeadRilla has some. They all have them. Pay per lead. Right. You need more, turn it up.
Yep.
Like imagine if I'm paying, right, Stephanie in my office, the recruiter, a salary, and I don't get her enough people to talk to every week. It'd be like super weird.
Throwing money away. Yep.
Correct. And y'all are throwing money away too.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And if you could see, I always try to explain to people, man, if they could, I don't know, when I was little, I used to look into those little binocular things that played like a little movie, like a little story. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep. Oh yeah.
If I could get y'all to see your story right now, based on interviews, it's like you've got to get to a point where you go like, how long do I want to drag this sucker out? Because it makes this thing so much easier when you do it to a higher level. It's painful at y'all's pace. It makes it not fun almost.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. It's definitely at the painful point.
It's like, let's just get that painful over with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it becomes more fun when you're talking to 30, 40, 50 people. Hell, Dom talked to 60-something last week. While running a $400,000 agent. You know what I mean? We got a lot going on. So y'all have the ability to, between the two of you, holy Lord.
Yeah, we need
what
fun.
Which y'all could get done. And this thing is fun. When you get to a point where you're talking to enough people that you can now cherry pick who you want to work with every day. Y'all are stuck working with idiots like the other day because you have to. I wouldn't have been on the phone with that guy for 3 minutes. Grown-ass man getting in a car, going and selling with someone. I'm like, what the hell? Is this kindergarten? Like, did your mommy bring you to his car, too, and put you in with your lunchbox? Like, what?
Yeah.
It's so awkward.
Yeah, I hear you.
But we fight I remember fighting for those ones, too, man. It's just, anyway. Y'all got any other questions, though? About the week, Kyrie, whatever?
Yeah, well, I got one. And I don't know if this is the best way or what the answer might be, but the question would be, what's the best way to get a firm commitment from somebody who's going to take the course or to follow through with contracting? Once they say yes, is it more in the process that I lay out for them, or we get. Hey,
if I had the perfect answer to that, I'd be a billionaire.
Okay.
So, right, what I try to do is set people up where the expectations are so clear that if it doesn't work out, I'm not frustrated because I know I wasn't unclear. If they choose to not be a part of this, I don't give a shit at all, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I try to ask a lot of questions to see where they're at, find out what their biggest problem is, and see if I can help attempt solve it. And then I put very, very short-term goals on it. Like, hey, Freddie, I'm about to shoot over this affidavit thing. You said you wanted to go fast, right? Not slow? You need to make money quick. Yes. All right, I'm going to send this over. Can you send it over to me, like, in the next hour?
Got you.
Yeah. It's either yes or no. I'm good either way. No, I'm out running today. I'll get it tonight. Cool. All right, man. No big deal. We'll get it tonight. Mando send you the rest stuff tomorrow. Why don't you call me tomorrow? I'll give you the next step. As soon as you send that in, give me a ring. I'll tell you what to do next, okay? I'm going to guide you through this thing. As fast as you can go, I can go. If you go too slow, though, I'm going to lose interest, okay?
Gotcha.
This is LaTwan. I have a question when you're in the home. If you're in the home and you set up your why, you lay out your structure of why you're there, what's going to happen, and then you get to the question where you say, if we can find something in your budget and, something that works for you, is there any reason why you couldn't do it today? And they say, well, let me see it. And they don't answer definitively yes or no. How would you respond?
I would ask the question again, just in a different way.
And if they answer it the same way again?
I would leave.
You would leave? Okay.
Meaning, I'm gonna change the whole scenario on you, right? We're sitting in a doctor's office, right? You're now a doctor, and I'm now the patient. And you ask me what's wrong with me, and I tell you nothing. I just want to see your prescriptions. And you go, I hear you, but what's going on? I think out front they said you had like a sore stomach. Like, what's health-wise? What's going on? I'm good. I just want to see prescriptions, man. What do you do now? You probably think about calling security.
Share the information, right.
You know what I mean? Like, this is getting weird. So I've told people, like, I hear, yes, I'm just trying to make sure I understand what page you're on. Seems like you need insurance for this, that, the other. I go back to their why. You said X, Y, Z, right? My assumption is you want to take care of your family. I'm just trying to make sure that if we can find something in place, my job is here today is to go ahead and get you approved for it. So I want to make sure I didn't misunderstand. Mary, you said if Bob died, this would happen. Your words are saying that's not really a massive concern of yours. I'd have thought you'd been jumping through the roof trying to get approved, because it seems like you'd be in a really bad situation if Bob died. Is that a fair assessment? Yep. How come? Why you have some hesitation?
Gotcha.
I don't mind just asking the question, because now I'm curious. You know what I mean? It means, for me, it just means you didn't get a good enough why if they say stuff like that. You know, and I know when I was new, I would be like, I got a great why. They'd be in trouble if he died. And that's all I knew. You know, I didn't know, I couldn't define trouble. I couldn't lay out the story of trouble. I didn't know. Does that make sense? Like, they'd have to move across town to their cousin Jenny's house and, you know, put 3 kids in a 2-bedroom house or whatever it was. I wouldn't know the detail, and then I would get general statements like that. I also get them, I've learned, when people don't like or trust me. I get it then too. So when people answer with generic questions or generic statements, it means I need to ask more detailed questions, because I haven't solved the problem yet. You know, meaning, here's another example I give a lot. If, I don't know, someone suggests you need to take a pill for whatever reason. I don't know. You got a little bit of high blood pressure. You got to take this pill, and it's $250 a month for the pill. You'd be like, ooh, I don't know. You know what I mean? But then I was like, if you don't take the pill, you're already at a point where if you don't take it in 3 months, like, your left foot will fall off. You take the pill now. You figure out how to pay the $250. Right?
Gotcha.
Because there's more urgency to it now. And if you guys learn to get how bad it hurts their family, that's the part I think is funny. And I remember being here. It's like, we talk about this whole thing about someone dying, but we talk about it in a way like it's not real. Like, especially when we sit with a couple and you get this situation where it's like, dude, I can barely pay my bill. Like, have you ever fell for that one where, like, they'd be in trouble, but then at the end it's not in their budget? You know what I'm saying? And they're like, we'll figure it out.
Right.
Like, we'll figure it out. I don't know. We'll have to come up with something. Ooh, $80.
Right.
Ooh, So I'm like, wait. I left the house one day and I was like, those suckers just convinced me that on 2 incomes they can't afford $80, but on 1 they can afford $1,200.
Wow.
Like, I just believe that shit. Once I started seeing that, I started getting frustrated, like, with myself. I'm like, how did I fall for that? They just told me they make $6,000 a month and can't afford $80, but on 3 they'll be able to pay $1,200. God, I suck. Let me ask better questions so I don't fall for that one again. And I started learning how to do this thing better because of that. Like, that when that light bulb hit me one day, I got mad. And I was like, damn, they're taking advantage of me. You know? And that's when I started learning how to ask better questions, because I was pissed. Make sense?
That does. Thank you.
You got it. Y'all got anything else, Paige?
Anybody else got questions?
John, that was awesome what you just said. I was about to ask, maybe I can piggyback off LaTwan. I was in a home the other day. I called Paige 3 times from that house, and I looked at their income, and they really were super, super strapped, very low income, and she was very sick. But I fell for it in the end. I was so pissed when I left there because I determined they'd prepaid $17,000 off some money that she had gotten a long time ago. So they already had a casket and they had a couple things set up, but they still needed another easy $5,000-$10,000 per person for a funeral. And even though they were super broke, and we talked about all the horrible things that would happen when one of them or both of them dies, I still walked out of there without covering them, and I was so pissed. They just played, at the very, very end, because I went through and I had them say, yes, we're going to do this today if we find something that, fits the need and all that. And I got all those yeses, and I thought I was on track and doing great. And at the very end, they gave me the puppy dog eyes and said how broke and poor they were and couldn't do it. And even though, I did call Paige 3 times, but I still walked out of there feeling frustrated and wondering what I missed. And you answered a lot of that. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add or ask me to add to that. But
here's one thing that I learned to do as well. Like when I was 100% certain that they needed help and they were being stupid, I pushed them if I had to. Meaning not in a way to get me a check, because I didn't care about the check. I was seeing enough people it didn't matter. But like I started to look at it like as if my mom was in that situation, right? And she wasn't going to get insurance. Like today it's weird, right? I wouldn't need it if it were me, but you get the point, right? Like
right.
When I was growing up, she was in that situation, and I understood the way I understood it today. And I was sitting with her, and I'm like, yeah, $50 a month, and we don't have to suffer. She's like, yeah, I can't afford $50 a month. You know what I mean? I'd be like, seriously?
Yeah.
You can't afford not to. You know what I mean? Like, I hear you. The reality is expensive. Dying is expensive, and you ain't getting out of it. So, Mary, do you want to come up with 5 or 10 G's, or would you rather pay $50 a month now? Because you got to pay it regardless. You ain't getting out of it. Do you really want to go through? Hey, morning. Do you really want to go through X, Y, and Z? And I name it verbatim on their words, not my words. If I put my words in, it doesn't mean anything. But if I say, you said this, this, and that, you really want to live through that life over $50? I've had plenty of appointments where I've sat there and go, I ain't leaving here till y'all get insurance. Y'all kick me out if you want. Again, you've got to know when you can't do it if you ask 2 questions. You know what I mean? Because I've certainly done it in the wrong spot and been kicked out. I've definitely done that. But I've also done it a lot where I say it, and they go like, you know what, you're right. Thank you. And I'll tell people straight up, like, dude, I don't need this commission. If you think this is for commission, it's laughable. I promise you I'm good. I don't want to get a call from her in 6 weeks, like, freaking out that, you know what I mean, like calling me to help collect money for you.
Got it.
Yeah, you can start if it's from the right spot. Stuff like that doesn't hurt. If it's because you need a commission this week, it doesn't come out right.
That makes sense.
Cool deal.
Thanks, John.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, John, we got just a couple more minutes. I saw that Dawn posted on WhatsApp about chargebacks. And, we do all know that clients cancel and they, don't make payments and we get chargebacks. It's inevitable. But I know a couple people on this call are dealing with that. Any words of advice beyond what I've already tried to share that can just for us to be as preventative as possible?
I think that nothing wrong. What's funny is every person I've ever talked to in 7 years, Paige, that's stressed out about chargebacks, if I tell them to go pull their persistency, it's never bad. All right? And I think what happens is as agents, we try to live on everything we got deposited and try to make we try to fix chargebacks relative to what we run. Meaning, I had this conversation with Julie this week. She was like, yeah, I sold 3 apps and I had a chargeback and it hurt. And I'm like, of course it did, because you sold 3 apps. Hey, sell 12 apps and get 4 chargebacks, it don't hurt. But when you sell 3 and get 1, it hurts. And it's, I always I use an example of Kilomet, because he had those steakhouses and pizza shops or whatever. And it's I don't know. Picture Kilomet having a steak shop that he's like, you know what, we're going to get into steakhouse, and we're going to get rich. But at the beginning, we're only going to open 2 days a week, and I'm only going to buy the cheap steak. And I'm going to buy frozen French fries, and I'm going to get 3 tomatoes. You know what I mean? We're not even going to have salad. And then at the end of the week, he's pissed that half his food went bad, and he ain't got no damn money to open the following week. I'm like, you did close 4 days. And you still had to pay rent, right? And you still had to pay your salaries, and you still had to pay for the oven you borrowed money for, and you know what I mean, the cooks. You still got to pay for everything. But you closed 4 days this week, and you didn't have enough food to sell to the customers you did have. And we run this thing, and then he's mad that, you know what I mean, he's mad about spoilage or something. I'm like, well, if you were open, you would have sold it, and you wouldn't have spoiled, whatever it is. You know what I mean? And I think here we get caught up on the chargeback versus what put us in the situation to make that chargeback hurt. I'm like,
very good point.
I know chargebacks suck when you don't sell enough. Chargebacks are part of business when you sell enough. You know, we were looking at, I think I talked about it up there in Detroit. I'm sorry. Walmart's theft a year. I always use that example. Like, they can be mad at theft, right? But they don't like, you don't hear them put out commercials about, oh my God, theft. Oh, what are we going to do? I think Walmart had something like $40 billion with a B, $40 billion last year in theft. I mean, it's like, I'm sure they wish they had the $40 billion, but the reality is it's all priced in and they're profitable anyway. So, like, sure, we'll have security in our stores, but we ain't gonna bitch about it. We're just gonna sell enough Snuggies and cereal, you know what I mean, and all this other crap you buy from Walmart. We'll just sell enough of it that the profit outweighs the $40 billion in stuff people steal. You know, just part of business. Could they be more aggressive? Seriously? Like, dude, the guy that does security at Walmart, they could almost not have a security department. You mean, like, if they cared, they'd have, like, armed military guards there. They just really don't give a shit because it's all priced in. And they sell enough that it don't matter. You know what I mean? Like, Grandpa McGee with the badge and no gun ain't going to stop somebody that's really serious about stealing. So they're just like, we'll just keep selling. You know what I mean? Keep throwing up commercials, which is their equivalent of leads. And they get enough sales that it all works out. You know, I think here if we learn to do that, like chargebacks actually go down when you sell more because you don't give a crap. So you're not trying to, like, pressure sale people. You know, it's more legit sales. So sell more and you won't be stressed. So that's how I started to look at it after a while. I'm gonna jump on the next call though. If y'all need me, just holler, okay?
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.